to call tonight's meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is the prayer and pledge. Please bow. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us here together to discuss this city. Thank you for allowing us to live in such a wonderful place. Please be with those that are not with us. Please be with the sick. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, second item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a first and second. Any discussion?
If I can ask Commissioner Johnson a little bit, a few minutes later, if we come up to his, if we could roll it to the bottom of the list, okay?
Sure.
We still present whatever it is, sure.
I think it's at the bottom, but
Is it
we'll
at the
do,
bottom?
yeah.
That's fine.
But we can always, well, we'll keep moving until he gets here.
Mayor,
Yes.
I was called by Tim Mangrum after around 6 o'clock or so, and he's asked A and B tonight to be deferred indefinitely on new business, item 10.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to remove A and B. Any other? Yes.
We need to defer item G as well.
Okay. Okay, anything else? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is citizens' comments.
Mayor, there are no citizens' comments tonight.
Okay, great. Item four, awards and recognition.
Mayor, such staff has done tonight.
Okay. Public announcements. Item A, we have a presentation from John Warner of Cumberland Securities and the debt restructure. And this, he will be presenting us tonight with a transcript of the bond. And so if anybody has any questions, then we'll allow him to make comments. We'll allow him first, and then maybe if y'all have a question, you're welcome to.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. First of all, Cumberland Securities is very grateful to serve as the financial advisor for the city of Fairview. I thought it would be important to memorialize the first bond issue on behalf of the city. The transcripts are an accurate recording of all of the paperwork and all the work that went into putting this particular issue together. A copy of it, Tom has one, Mr. Hall has one, and it's in a digital form with your counsel and also in Tom's office as well. And I just wanted to present to you, the commissioners, the mayor and the commissioners, and also to Mr. Hall and Tom, the transcripts, and maybe for a photograph opportunity or something like that. And with that, that concludes my prepared remarks, unless there are any particular questions about the issue itself.
I just to validate, I guess, my assessment, it turned out better than we thought.
Good.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, it did. The markets were very favorable that day. I always tried to hedge my bets, and I didn't want to tell you exactly what I thought. But at the day that we did bonds, we sold fixed rate, matures in 2030 at a 2.5% interest rate. And what we did is we took all of the debt that you had and we rolled it all up into this. So now Tom, when he does his planning, is able to see exactly what is due, when it's due, and he doesn't have to worry about the variable rate debt component, which could have been very disadvantageous, a real problem for the city, particularly as interest rates, if they begin to start to rise, which we believe they will.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay. Well, if you want to
Great.
present, and if the board wants to, do y'all want to do it up here, or y'all going?
That'd be great.
Please join us for the picture.
Sorry. Are top notch. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed working with them. They were fantastic. Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate it very much. Thanks, Mayor. Thank you very much. Okay, where do you want me to stand?
Just in the middle.
Okay.
You'll be the.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to have really nice late night reading, this is it, right here. This is it.
For insomnia.
Thank you so much.
Hold on one second.
Not good at posing with a handshake. I feel like I really want a handshake.
I will, if y'all can indulge me, could we come down here because it's hard for me to shoot up.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
sorry. You're so used to the seal.
Oh, I'll get it behind you. But I'll have to stand on the table. Yeah, that's better. It's got the seal and the flags and everything.
Okay. Well, that's good for you. Okay.
And y'all just come in close, okay?
Tony's mad right now.
Okay. Move that way just a little bit.
I think
Okay,
there's
here we
some
go.
good joke here.
You know how I am.
This is harder than issuing bonds.
I know. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna take 2. Hold on. Make sure everybody's eyes are open.
That'll just be your mayor's. We'll have to close that.
No, I'm gonna take it over. He didn't say it. One more time, ready? Say cheese. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, can you get a picture of me running? No. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for the opportunity.
Appreciate you.
Oh, well, no, listen, y'all been a great client. This is fun. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, do we have, I'm sure the regular announcement of, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor. The emission testing Monday and Tuesday from 7:30 till noon. And Vice Mayor, I apologize, I did not get in touch with them about the holiday situation, but I will by the next meeting, okay?
I did, and it's on the
Oh.
website.
Way to go,
I
Ms.
got back
Johnson.
up, I tell you.
There you go.
Okay, any other commissioners have any announcements? Yes, go ahead.
Fire Department would like to let everyone know that October the 10th, we'll be having a Touch a Truck event over here at the Hometown Pets. Anybody in the community can come by. It's on a Saturday. I believe we might have some police cars there, EMS, so feel free to come by. We've also started our breast cancer awareness shirts again this year. So they're $20, and you can come to the fire department and get them, and we'd be more than happy to hand them out as you come down there and see if we can make some donations to the cancer awareness.
Okay,
That's it. Thank you.
great. And Mr.
Make it
Sutton.
quick, the police department every year for the last 4 years has put together a program around the Christmas time to help out people in need. This year we've decided to get on board with the Shop of the Cop program. So we're going to be taking donations from the community today through November the 12th will be the cutoff for the donations. We received, within 20 minutes of a Facebook post, we received a very generous donation from one of the local businesses here. And then yesterday we received a generous donation from one of our citizens, Scott McCoy, so I'd like to thank him. But anybody interested in that, just contact Lieutenant Stockdale with the police department.
Okay, great. Okay, no, oh, okay. Also, just a reminder, the homecoming, the Fairview Yellow Jackets will be playing the 9th, and it is the homecoming game. We'll have the parade. Do we have a time? 1 o'clock. They'll have a parade. I encourage everybody, every business to decorate. It kind of makes it fun. Let's show our jacket pride and try to support the kids at the school. So, and is it a home game this week?
It is a home
I
game
think
this
it is
week.
a home game. Is it? Oh,
Cheatham County.
Cheatham County. Okay, sorry. Don't want to steer you wrong. Thank you. But we look forward to them being back on the 9th. Okay, if that's it, we'll move on. Staff comments. We'll start with the hat of Codes Director, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. On the Planning Commission this next week, or the 13th, let's put it that way, we have 4 subdivisions. 2 of them are older subdivisions that's coming back. One is a resubmittal. Another one is an extension of a phase. And then Hardee's is coming back also. So just wanted to inform you of that as far as codes go.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is there anything we can share about the meeting, about the directional signs?
That's on my
Okay. That's
agenda
the
later.
city
I've
manager.
already got it wrote down.
Yeah, okay, okay. And then, do you have anything for us, Ms. Johnson?
I do. I just want to give a quick update on the census. We got the list to Chris yesterday of all the addresses in the city. Mr. Hall and I spent a lot of time editing and updating that, trying to get it as correct as possible. And they will be sending us a blurb we'll put on the website, as well as a link to the survey, hopefully in the next week or so. And then we'll also put a copy of the form that they're sending out so everybody can know what to look for.
Great, so it's all gonna happen pretty soon?
Yes.
Okay, so just please, everybody, take the time to fill it out and report and get back in, and that way we don't have to send people out knocking, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. Mr. Darty, what about you?
Thank you. I'll just have a brief report. I did put some documents on the website. The website now has audits from year 2002 to 2014 on the website, and I also put this year's approved budget on the website, and the financial statements for May and June of last fiscal year. And then I plan on putting the next quarterly report on the website. So did that, and I've been very busy just tying up loose ends, but I wanted to give a brief report on the OpenGov. Spent quite a bit of time with our tech, and I believe the solution we came up with, and I've thought about punting multiple times, but I'm a team player, and we come up with, we got 2014 within $1,859 of matching the audits. I feel really good about that. I've got a disclaimer on there that it's adjusting entries, and the years prior is going to have to be a project. So what we decided to do is put 14 on. I believe, and I've got my fingers crossed, all of my adjusting entries are correct for 15 when we go on, and then I can go forward with these months, and then and then use those prior years as a project. I really want to get them up, but I can't give a time frame on that because it's going to be quite a bit of tedious, time-consuming work, but it needs to be done. They did give us, they're working on a 4-month extension. They said we have been approved for that. It's something they've never done, and so it might take just a little bit of time, but they said we have been approved for that. So I was glad to hear that. Any other questions?
No, I guess that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's pretty easy. Okay, anybody else, did you have anything?
Just want to announce Boogie Park Fall Fun Day is still happening. It's going to be, instead of on the dome, it's going to be in and around the Nature Center from 10 to 4 this Saturday. And the Friends would like me to tell everyone that anyone that has a worn or torn American flag, that we're collecting them at the Nature Center, so for the month of October.
Is that any time or just this weekend?
Throughout the month.
Okay.
Okay, so everything's on for Saturday, and it
Yes.
starts at 9 o'clock?
10.
Oh, 10
10.
o'clock, 10 o'clock.
10
And
to
this
4.
is a free event?
It is. We have some pumpkins that'll be charged,
Right.
be able to cover that, and then we'll be selling hamburgers and hot dogs.
Okay, great. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Okay. Nothing from Chief Harris in the back? Okay. Approval of the minutes?
Move to approve.
Well, I guess we'll do consent because they're in there. I'm sorry. It's my bad. Okay, approval of the consent, or the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a first and second. Any discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. No old business, so we move on to 10. And that takes us, A and B have been removed, so it takes us to C, discuss and take action on filling seats, citizen and BOC for Finance Review Committee, Carol. So this was just based from our discussion about filling, adding a seat on the Finance Committee, and then just filling a seat and adding another commissioner. Correct, Miss? You want your seat filled, is that correct? Or are you wanting to hold on to your seat?
No, I no longer wish to serve. I think somebody else should serve.
Okay.
Do we have any applications so far?
Yes, we have 2 applications, hang on. And then I will allow each applicant, if you'd like to come up and just say something, feel free. You don't have to, I don't guess. It's just really up to you. Mr. Tucker, do you? Okay. Mr. Blay?
Mayor and Commissioners, it would be an honor to serve if you so desire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we filling 2 seats, adding one and replacing?
We're adding 1 seat from a citizen, and then we can go ahead and, this is for really filling the seat. So I would say filling Commissioner Basel's seat. Is that how you take it?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
the way
I think
it's worded.
you're filling my vacancy, and then we're adding an additional person.
But it's
to-
for 2.
to the committee.
Okay, so we'll start out with the citizens, and thank y'all for coming and wanting to serve on the board. Yes,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
you want to do it all together, or?
I was just going to nominate John Blade.
Okay,
Second.
okay, got a first and second for John. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you both for serving. And Mr. Blay, I guess they'll give you some information on the next meeting. Okay, as far as the Board of Commissioner seat, yes. Okay, I thought you had something. I would like to nominate Commissioner Crutcher.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second, and that seat, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we move on and do the other seat?
Is there another
That's all we
seat?
have.
There is no
I think
other.
that was it.
Okay, that's what I was trying to,
You're
if
full
we're,
again.
okay.
Did everybody that was already on there starting this term, are they going to continue if we get confirmation on that?
Yeah, I don't know that we really determined a term limit on the seats. But most boards run 2 or 3 years. I think we talked about this, 3 years. So we assumed that that's what the current seats would do. And we haven't had any notice that Mr. Baker or Mrs. Brooks want to leave, so. This is just adding a seat.
While we're on that.
Yes.
I had talked to CFO Darty about this earlier. We're due for a quarterly meeting. Do we want to go ahead and talk about that and when that'll be now? Now that we have a full board again?
Yeah.
You have to put it on the agenda. It's not
Okay.
on the agenda.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, he can call him.
I don't know. We only have one more meeting between now and the end of the month, so we need to,
Well, he can just call
Just,
it.
yeah, just,
he can determine it and just let everybody know what
Donna
that
can
that's
call
fine.
it. Donna's still the chairperson. Until
Okay.
good enough.
Okay.
Call it,
So we'll just
just touch base with them.
we're done with C, and that'll give us D, discuss and take action, and the fishing for tuition. Mr. Sutton.
Thank you, Mayor. What this is a fishing for tuition, and it is an event dedicated to raising tuition for the children of Robert Bobby Polston, Matt, and Skylar, and to promote the awareness of suicide prevention within the city. Bobby's family and friends invite you to celebrate his life and enjoy a day of fun in the park, fishing rodeo, silent auction, live music, face painting. Going to be at Bowie Park, Saturday, October the 24th. The time for the fishing rodeo is 7 to 8. Fishing rodeo is 8 to 11. Silent auction is 11 to 2. Cost for fishing rodeo is $10 for adults, $5 for children. It's for everybody, basically. I'd like to invite everybody out there, and I'd also like to, since what it's for is to waive the fees for the pavilion and the other fee. Which one is it, Keith? Pavilion and the event fee 125, since it is for charity, more or less.
Okay.
And we've got some more information. Would you like to stand up? Sure.
Did you have?
You want to tell us anything else about it?
Well, it's,
I had 2 sheets of paper. I'm sorry, I left one of them at home, so.
Okay.
the day following the incident, which has created the cause for the benefit, I woke at 1:30 in the morning and said, what can I do? I'm a former resident of Fairview. I now live in Nashville. Been making frequent trips back, though. And I thought to myself, in what way could I possibly help to indemnify the boys? I can never bring their father back, but tuition is a good start, providing them with a potential future. And I don't want to burden the family with fees. There are a lot of us who are volunteering. This has drawn a lot of people together in Fairview and out of Fairview. And we would all, on behalf of the benefit itself, really appreciate the opportunity to use the park without any of the fees that are typically associated with its use.
So,
Move to waive the fees.
sorry.
I move to waive the fees.
Second.
Okay, first and second, any discussion? All in,
Look forward to having it out there and hope it grows into a much bigger thing for other people that's involved in the same tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Include you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, appreciate what you're doing. Okay. Discuss and take action on the GHSO grant, and that'll be Johnson, but I think you can speak, right? He was just the
I can.
sponsoring board member.
For the past 8 years, we've received grant funding from the Girls Highway Safety Office for DUI enforcement, alcohol awareness programs. This year, we have got a grant proposal from them for the 2015-2016 grant year, which starts October 1st, for $15,000 worth of funding, which will include overtime and some equipment.
Now, the overtime you're talking about, is this when we're doing roadblocks with other agencies?
We do interact with other agencies during this program with Williamson County, mostly for roadblocks saturation periods, which we found more successful than the actual roadblocks themselves.
And this is 100%, there's no matching funds?
Right, it's 100% funding. It is a reimbursement funding per quarter.
Good. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a first and second. Any discussion?
Mayor, I've reviewed the grant, and it's typical of a state grant of this type. I have no problem with it.
Okay, great. Okay, no more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
you. That brings us to F, discuss and take action on hiring authorization for one additional part-time person for the codes department.
To approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize there was another tagline. It just says, Department to handle administrative duties, scheduling, and controls. And that's Commissioner Bassell.
Thank you, Mayor. Real short, I don't know what y'all's impression was at the workshop, the joint workshop that we had with them. But my impression was that part of the communication issue was strictly that they had so many people pulled in so many different directions that it was falling through the cracks. And I think we all have agreed one way or the other over the time that that's very important, that we make sure that everybody's read in on what's going on, and especially as we invite people into our city to do business and stuff. We want to come across as a very professional, very open, easy to deal with organization. It is not my intent to legislate that Mr. Hall hire anyone. It is not my intent to do anything other than we have implemented a hiring freeze, and I want to give him an exception to the hiring freeze. So should he desire to hire a part-time employee to assist in that department, that he doesn't have to come back to us to do that. I'm not wanting to mandate that he hire somebody. I'm basically want to leave it up to him because I see it as a personnel action. But as I read what we did, he couldn't do that now, even if he had the money. So I'd like to just give him that ability to have that exception to hire a part-time person, which would, of course, have no benefits. It would just be a part-time hourly employee. Should he feel the need as some of us saw it at the meeting.
If I recall, when we touched on this a meeting or so ago, there was somebody who had left that would free up this, is that right?
Yeah, I did, Keith shared with me, that person, one of the other part-time people that was working as an instructor has picked up most of those hours, so that money's not available. But at this particular time, as Tom indicated, we're moving in the right direction, and we should be okay if he decided to do that. But that specific job has been transferred by increasing the hours, one of the summertime instructors that's familiar with that job.
Would there be, I mean, he would have to come back with a salary amount with amended if he
If he and Tom
decides.
couldn't figure out a way for it to pay in the budget, he'd have to come back and ask for a small amendment.
Okay.
But there is money in the budget right now to pay for it, and my suggestion would be to wait until later in the year when you saw you were actually going to need the amendment to come back. It may very well be, with part-time people and part-time hours, it may very well be that you know, there's enough slippage in there that you would be able to do it, if he decides to do it.
Yes. Well, I mean, I agree with this, and I think I said it in the workshop. That is, I think they need help. I think we're having so much pickup, and just to stay on top. And so, you know, I would be in support of getting them that help and giving Mr. Hall the opportunity to do so if he saw fit. Any other thoughts or discussions?
I mean, I think it's a good idea. I had a conversation with just by happenstance with the attorney for Hardee's today in juvenile court in Franklin, and we sort of talked about how things went with that process, and he had nothing but positive things to say about Fairview and the administration, by the way, but nonetheless, there was some breakdown along the way between the engineer, staff review, and him coming before the planning commission. There were changes that apparently not only he had never seen or Hardee's had never seen, but neither had the planning commission. So that sounds like it, something that if we had that extra person to kind of have a checklist and be responsible for making sure those administrative type things were handled, it would be a good idea. So I'm all for it.
Care if I elaborate on that just
No,
one
sure.
second? There was communication between both engineers. Will actually emailed the engineer in Arkansas 2 hours before the planning commission meeting. So I've kind of talked to him to see if he could, we've talked about getting all these engineering things to y'all at least 2-3 days earlier. I've already talked to him about that, and that's what the reason they didn't have them that night, and the planning commission had them. I didn't even have them. I'm sitting down at the table, and I didn't get handed one that night, and it was just I think Will kind of had so much on him that, a little late getting the report out. And so that's basically where the communication let down. So Will and I have had a talk about that, and he's agreed that he'll get the paperwork to us, his report, 2 or 3 days earlier, so I told him, just give me one email, I'll get it hand-delivered out to the board, so.
And my comment by no means was an indictment on anybody.
I understand.
Whether it be the engineer,
Yep.
the administrator, it was just simply that I think this is a good idea to have
It
this
is.
person.
Yeah, and, but that was the communication let down there, and so, but it's, I think I've got it handled, so, we'll go forward with that. And it's gonna be good to be able to get the engineering report out to the commissioners 2 or 3 days earlier, so, anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think anyway it's, that the codes department's not doing their job, because they're doing their job and more. Because we've dumped a lot on the city manager and, on the John and Sharon. So I think if you did decide to do this, this would just be, able to free up some of the workload, and then maybe have that person to help coordinate some of that and have the follow through, is the way I see that.
Let me just sort of praise everybody that's helped in this transfer. Larry's been one of them. I call on him quite frequently. Will has been exceptional. Brandy helps, Tom helps, Sharon helps, Susan, Gina, and Diane. Everybody sort of, and John, they've all sort of pulled together. And if I designate something to go to them, they get it done for me. So it's sort of been a team effort, and I just want to thank them for picking up the slack that I need sometimes when I get an awful lot on me. So I just want to thank them. Thank you.
Well, and this doesn't say, you may decide you want to wait till January, and see see how things picked up. But this will just give you that option for you can come back if you know. Okay, any more discussion? I don't know exactly when you walked in, Commissioner Johnson, you got everything on the position, know where we are? Okay. No more? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and that'll take us to H, discuss and take action on employee health insurance benefits, and that'll be Commissioner Johnson.
We skipped phone service.
I did? I thought that we took it out.
We took it off.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't scratch that one off.
Thank you, Mayor. Tom, could you explain to us, for those of us that do not know, me being one of them, how employees are treated that retire from the city, and whether or not we allow them to carry their insurance or not?
I had pulled up a document, and of course, we've only had one person retire since I've been here, and he was doing some extra service to the city, and when the city carried his insurance, it was kind of a different situation. I wouldn't put it as a normal situation, but we've got and I don't have the document with me, and Larry may be familiar with it, but to my knowledge, it's a 50-50 payment of their health insurance when they leave, and I don't have all the details in front of me, but I can get it. That's what I remember. Larry, do you recall anything on that?
Tom, I haven't looked at that in a long time. I'd have to look at it too.
Okay, I looked at it about 4 or 5 months ago when I was talking with Chief Harris, and I gave him copies, and to tell you the truth, I laid it down, and I'd have to look at it to be totally sure.
So it's, the way you remembered, it's 50-50. City pays half and the former employee pays half.
I think, but I'm not 100%, but I think that's what I remember.
What are
So
the,
half of the, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, half of the entire premium, is that what?
That's what I think, but I would have to, I really hesitate to say anything else, because I'm not 100%.
So basically, when an employee retires, this would be, whatever we do would bridge the gap between retirement and the time they're eligible for Medicare. Is that right?
Yes.
That was gonna be my next question. Is this age of retirement that we do this, or is this a certain number of years of service to the city?
There was a certain number of years of service.
Do we know what that number is?
It was I believe it was 25 years.
If somebody has served 25 years for the city and retires from the city, I don't know why we don't insure them until they're eligible for Medicare.
Correct.
That's my opinion.
And I'm not so
Voted.
sure, but I think some employees may have thought that they're not going to be covered. And that's where this is coming from.
what's the percentage paid now by the city of the premium?
I'd say 85%. 85, maybe a little more. I'd say right around 85%.
What does the county do?
They allow us, when I first started there, it was age 55 with 10 years of service. You're allowed to keep your insurance at the current premium that you have at the time of retirement, unless there's some increases in it between that and the time you draw your Medicare. In my case, I could retire 10 years ago, but I'm still working, so I'm still paying my premium just like I would be. If I retire next year like I'm planning on it, I'll go into a different plan. It's a Humana plan. It's just different for retirees. But the main goal was, if you, at age 55 and 10, you kept it until you're eligible for Medicare. And you kept it at the premium that you were paying unless there was a general increase in premiums that anybody would have had. So it was, I was 55 plus 10. They've changed it now. I believe it's where it's 60. Same thing, keep your premiums at it. And that's the reason I went to work there and the reason I stayed there, because it had a good insurance plan, good insurance premium set up for you. So.
Mayor, if I could ask one more question.
Sure.
Since I asked Commissioner Sutton. Commissioner Basile, could you speak to how the federal government worked with their retirees since you're a fresh retiree?
If you have participated in the prior 5 years to retirement and you qualify for a retirement program, you can't just resign. You have to meet one of the civil service or FERS retirement programs, and it varies upon age and years of service. 25 years, any age. The program I retired on was 30 years, age 55. So it just varies, but the federal government continues to pay as though you are an employee until 65, when you can draw Medicare. And the only difference being that when you're an employee, the premium is paid prior to taxes As a retiree, you have to pay taxes on the premium.
So you do, a cafeteria plan is not eligible, that's what I call it, a cafeteria, pre-tax.
No, it's not.
That's what it
Once you retire, you have to pay tax on it, on the monies. And so it does mean you pay a little more than what the normal employee pays because you're paying it in taxes. But the premium actual amount is the same, and the coverage is the same.
So are you writing the check to them, or are you, if you're drawing, like you can draw early, your retirement?
Well, no, the federal government takes your premium out of your pension, which is something
Okay.
TCRS won't do. When Elaine retired, we looked into that, and TCRS doesn't do that. So, whereas mine's taken out, just like my taxes are taken out, everything's taken out before I ever see it. You know, what goes to the bank's my net. With TCRS, you're gonna get the money, and then a retiree would have to turn around and write a check back to the city in a timely manner. And, for whatever portion we want from them.
How many years of service do you have to have with the city before you're eligible for retirement under TCRS? Is there a
Well,
threshold?
again, it's a varying amount. It's staggered depending upon your age and years of service.
Well, 60 comes to amount for something, what is it?
For full retirement, it's age 60 and 25-year service, if I remember correctly, and I'm just off the top of my head here. Elaine was 15 years in service, but she took a reduced annuity. And I don't remember exactly how that all worked. But I do know that, and I was trying to look it up in the employee handbook. I thought it said that we did not pay the retirees' health insurance. But I haven't found that yet, so. I've not seen the document that Tom was talking about. I don't know about that. But my opinion is we should.
Right.
Somebody that, like, I think Commissioner Crutcher said it very well, somebody that spends 20, 25 years doing the city's business should have the option for the insurance.
Any employee, any department,
Sir?
any department, any employee.
Yeah, any, wouldn't make any difference.
Well, it's something that'll help us keep our employees. I mean, the biggest turnover, biggest cost you have in
Give
any
them a
type of
reason to
business.
stay.
Any business is retraining people, losing your people. And a lot of young people today, the county doesn't even offer it today like they did when I first started. And that's their incentive for staying. Longevity means a lot of things, so.
What percentage of their salary do we pay? Like, I mean, the employee, like, once they.
We pay
just
all of their
curious.
salary.
So the whole salary, so what they leave at is what they,
Oh, you
No, no,
mean,
no.
what,
Like
you
what
mean, what do they
percentage?
draw in
Yeah,
retirement?
yeah.
It comes from state.
I know, but-
That comes from
We don't pay.
Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. And it's like Commissioner Bissell said, I mean, you're vested after 5 years, but depending on how much service you have, it depends on how much you get. I mean, if you leave after 10 years, you won't get near as much as you get if you leave after 25. And it's also based on your last 5 years of service. They take your last 5 years and they use those numbers to calculate what you get.
Is it possible for us to put, if we decided to do this, not only put a years of service threshold, but also an age, like a minimum age threshold before we'll actually do it? Like you have to be at least 50, and I don't know what would apply. I think most people would have to be 55 anyway, but
I
at
mean,
least
age
50.
60, you can do it with
So it's age
however
60.
many, with 20 years of service.
I mean, they really have it right now, don't they, already? They have 60 plus 25, isn't that what you said?
For the
Commissioner?
retirement, but not the insurance.
Yeah, that's for the
okay.
retirement. I'm talking about for us carrying the insurance part, because I mean, conceivably, somebody could have 20 years of service at 40. And
That's why you
Really
stick to age.
38, just like the military. If they
Right,
came
really
to work here at
really
18.
38. Yeah, you're right.
I think that we should have it where you must qualify for a TCRS retirement.
That's right, that's
You
smart.
must take, you can't let them establish the rules as age and years of service. If you qualify for a TCRS retirement, which could be, if you were 60, it might be 10 years. That's what the federal government is 10 years, age 60. So, those people would be the same as somebody that had 25 years service and age 52. If you qualify for a TCRS retirement.
Then we should cover the insurance.
Then you are eligible for us to pay to Medicare.
But they'll be paying the current rate that they're paying individually, or family, however they choose to do it.
Well, that would be just left up to us, how much we wanted to invest. The federal government pays, for family, well, for two, Elaine and I.
But the county pays my entire, for myself.
So they pay, it's not just limited to one.
I think that's a good idea with going with whatever the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement does. That's
It
smart.
makes it easier.
Easier for us.
We don't have to get into a calculation and possible hard feelings because we said, no, you had 19 years, 4 months, and let the state make all that determination.
And the retirees portion of the premium, instead of what Tom thought it to be, 50% or whatever of the whole premium, would just be whatever the employees are paying at that particular time for either employee only or family or
That's
whatever.
what I think it should be.
And if it goes up if the total premium goes up next year, their portion goes up next
Portion
year.
goes up to. For health insurance purposes, we're just basically treating them like employees until they're 65 years old.
Larry, would that be a policy change, or does that need an ordinance?
No, you don't have an ordinance for your, what you're doing now. It's a policy change. It's not included per se, but those payments are included in your budget ordinance. But it'd just be a policy change.
What I would like to do, and I don't know what anybody else thinks, but maybe put this off where you can get the current policy together, let us review it, put the suggested change that have been mentioned, just to see, because I feel like even though it sounds great to me, but without seeing what our actual policy, and you couldn't pinpoint exact, that maybe we just put it off for one more meeting, get the stuff together for us where we can look at it, and then, change the policy.
And
That's fine by me.
if that policies and procedures manual, if it goes in there, then you would have to change the policies and procedures manual by an ordinance.
Well,
Just say, this is possible.
probably that part of it is probably outdated greatly from what it was in there in the original. So it's good that we're looking at it anyway, because I'd like to see more people be able to stay and retire and keep that longevity going with them. It's just important. You got for whoever you are.
What happens a lot of times, and I've had it happen with people in my family, they work because they have to have the insurance. So they continue working. They're probably not able to continue working in reality, or they
They have to
certainly
have
don't
that
want to
insurance.
continue working, but they don't have the ability to pay for insurance. And if somebody's dedicated that amount of time to a job, that shouldn't be a concern, in my opinion, of theirs, as to whether or not they're going to have insurance. But yeah, I'm like Mayor Carroll, I would like to know what the policy is, the current policy is, and I would also like to kind of have an idea of what this looks like financially for the city. I mean, in terms of, I don't know how many people we've got that's close to retirement. I don't think we have that many.
It's just 2 or 3.
I've heard there's only 2 that's been here over 20 years. Is that correct?
Too. But I guess what I'm saying is hypothetically, if we have a group of people that are in that 40 to, again, I don't want to go into discriminatory practice here, but that are in a certain age range, and they're all going to be retiring or potentially retiring at the same time, I'd like to know what that kind of looks like, forecast it out a little bit if possible. Because I think once we change the policy, it's going to be hard to ever.
You want me to forecast it in 20 years, 5 years, 30 years?
I'd say the next 10.
Yeah, next 10 years, over the course of the next 10, yeah.
Mayor, I'll move to defer to the next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Do we need to vote on that?
To defer.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. City manager's item for discussion.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. I want to go back to codes just for one item that I failed to mention a minute ago. Brownland Farms is coming to staff in October and to the Planning Commission in November. So I failed to mention that a minute ago. So Rocktoberfest, to let you know, y'all have approved a $10 fee for that. We're going to have to allow some of them to use a credit card machine. That fee is an additional $1. So I just wanted to inform you that there will be an additional $1 for the people as far as fees go for Rocktoberfest. The next item is the signs, the directional signs that we've had down for several months now. The mayor and I met with Phil Trammell with TDOT, I think it was yesterday, I believe. And I think I've got the locations that he prefers. And we had a good meeting with him. He went over the rules and everything, and he thinks we comply. The sign design seems to be good with him. He's going to take it back to one of his other people that handle the signs every day that actually works under him, Mr. Sweat. And so as soon as I get clearance on that, then I will be back in touch with Signs and Wonders so we can get them installed. Yes, sir.
Larry, do we need to check on the legality of what we can charge on a credit card? Is there a percentage out there that you're held to or whatever?
You can charge what it costs you to process a credit card. In other words, if you're paying 5% to the, or 10% to the whatever vendor is on the card, then you can charge that.
I just don't want us to get something that's not legal or whatever the case may be, if we're overcharging them.
Yeah, you can charge what it costs you to process the credit card. In other words, if you.
Well, it's not gonna cost 10%.
It's not gonna cost $1 on 10.
That's 10%, and I don't know any credit card
Now,
company.
you can legally charge what it costs you.
What it costs us is all we can legally charge, correct?
That was the reason I was bringing that up, just to make sure we get covered.
So we need to find out whatever that credit card company's charging us to run those, and that's the maximum that we can charge
That's correct.
by law.
It's more like 3 to 6.
Yeah, if they're charging you 50%, then you can charge 50%. If they're charging you 5%, you can charge 5%. But look, a
And
lot of
everybody,
places
the
charge
county
2.5,
does,
but
everybody else does, so.
it goes on a card, you just have to get the credit card people and see how much that is.
Okay, did you have anything else?
Yes, there's still one more sign that we're going to honor Dan Kubik on his effort on the Roadscapes project. And hopefully I could set that up. I've got to find out when Skip will have the sign ready. And at that time, I'll let the tree board know when we're going to set up the dedication for that. And I explained to him the spot that you would prefer, Vice Mayor, and he seemed to think we were good there. The problem that we have is we need to be 25 feet from not the center line, but the border line, the white line that's next to the road, or next to the curb or whatever. So I don't think we're going to have any problem there, so.
Do we have a start date on that project?
No, sir, we're going to have an update Tuesday night at the tree board.
Okay.
There has been a delay in the funding, and I talked to Anna Emerson today about
On their part or our part?
the states,
Okay.
moving some over on the tip, as they call it. I did know what the tip, Mary, do you remember what the tip is? I can't read it. It's something on the funding. I'll find out for sure on that. I have so much to remember, I can't remember that one. But I've talked to Anna Emerson with MPO today, and so that's being handled. And Andrew Craig with Lotion Associates will be at the tree board meeting for an update on that Tuesday night. So that's where we're at on that, and that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay. City Attorney, do you have anything for us tonight?
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing further.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
No comments tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I just want to recognize people in this city overall for when families are in need and have trouble coming together for different causes that we have. And it's good, it feels good to live in a city like this. It feels good that when a funeral procession goes by, everybody pulls over and shows their respect for it. That's a good city to live in. That's all I have.
Great. Commissioner Bissell?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay, and Commissioner Crutcher?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, great. Don't have a lot tonight, but I did see these lovely DVDs and History Village. I have seen the replay, I guess it was Channel 19. I know I saw it.
Channel 3.
Three, okay. I knew I'd seen it on, somewhere, but can't wait to, want to thank everybody that had a part of this and providing us the copy of the DVD.
Dr. Rice brought those in for me to hand out, so.
Great. So we'll have to be sure to thank Dr. Rice for that. And then I guess that's it. I hope y'all have a great evening. Can I get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
And then
All right.